Hey guys, it's time for the midweek lift, and we got some heavy lifting to do this week with Romans 8. So Romans 8 is a lot of times either just boiled down to verse 28, and we know that God causes all things to work together for the good of those who love God, those who are called according to his purpose, or maybe we just jump right to the end where, we talk about that I'm convinced neither life nor death nor angels or principalities or things in present or future or powers, height or depth or anything can separate us from the love of God. Those are awesome, amazing, incredible things in Romans 8. But there's another biggie that I think we just skip over because we just don't understand it at all. And I'm just going to touch on it today because I find it fascinating. And it starts in verse 29 and 30, and it's about predestination, right? Like that's a scary word because we don't understand it, right? But it says this: for whom he foreknew, God, he also predestined to become conformed to the image of his son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. And whom he predestined, he also called. And whom he called, he also justified. And whom he justified, he also glorified. What should we say then to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? Now, you can get all into predestination. How much does God know? Did he know exactly who would become Christians? Did he just know a group of people would become Christians? Did he just know he was going to give the opportunity for people to become Christians? Does he know the future at all? These are all fair questions. And to be honest, there are no definitive answers, right? Like there's books and books and books written on them. More importantly than that, though, is the movement that's happening here. So this verse that starts out, God's working all these things good, and then Paul just takes us down this road and goes, hey, listen, God knew this, so he, allowed people to be conformed to his image. He made them firstborn. He predestined them. He called them. He justified them. He glorified them. What he's saying is, God, we're not deists. We don't serve a God who started the world spinning and walked away. I mentioned this last week. He's deal with it. I'm walking away. That's not our God. The God that we serve said, hey, I started this and I'm going to finish it. If I started the work in you, I'm not walking away. I'm going to conform you to my image. I'm going to justify you. I'm going to glorify you. You're going to receive salvation. That is pretty awesome. And then he closes the thought by saying, so if God's for us, who can be against us? In other words, if God worked in you, and in this case, maybe the Romans or somebody else come in and start oppressing Christians, you don't have to quake in fear and say, well, maybe God doesn't care. He's not going to quit. He's not going to give up. He's going to finish the work he started in you. He's going to work things according to his purpose. In other words, God's in control and he's committed. He's not a deadbeat dad that's going to walk out. He's not an unfaithful spouse that's going to leave. He's not a friend who's going to turn around and stab you behind the back or leave when it's not convenient for him. He's here for the long haul and he's going to keep working. So if he's for us, who can be against us? Hope you have a great week.